But if you're not familiar with Game Toppers, they provide a wide array of products to enhance your board game experience, ranging from tables to bags to all sorts of different accessories, and all of them are of very good quality. Well, except for I have seen more impressive board game bags, but the funny thing about these bags are these are actually the ones that I prefer by a mile compared to those more luxurious bags that cost a ton of money, because these ones are way more affordable and they get the job done just as well. They have really nice zipper on them, and they even compact down when you're not using them, which makes them really easy to store. And I don't own any of these bags myself, but when I moved a couple years back, I did borrow a whole bunch of different bags from a friend of mine when I was moving all my board games to my new place, and these are the ones that I preferred by far. The other ones look really nice, and they are really thick material and all that, but they are super expensive, and honestly, this is more than enough that you need for any game night. If you do already own one of those big expensive bags, they definitely are nice and they probably will last you a lifetime, so no regrets there. But if you don't own one already, I think these ones are more than enough. And like I said, I prefer them just because they're compact and easy to store. Once I take the games out of them, I don't have to worry about trying to stuff them into some corner somewhere. But now let's get to the playmats, and before I get too far ahead of myself and saying too many positive things about the work that this company does, I do want to mention that they did send me 2 playmats, so take that as you will. They're not paying me to do any of this, and I didn't require them to send me any of these mats. They just did it out of the goodness of their heart, but I'm really glad that they did, because now I can see them for myself and give you a little bit more information on what I think. And just regarding game mats in general, my opinion is that if you don't own one already and you do play games frequently enough, I do think it is a worthy investment. First of all the mats that I've seen do have a matte finish, so you're not going to be getting all those annoying reflections and glare off the top of your table anymore, and it does create a nice contrast to whatever game that you're playing. And that's probably the most minor thing that a game mat adds, but I do think it's worth mentioning because I haven't really heard anyone mention that before. But it's also going to make components easier to pick up off the table, especially cards. If you ever find yourself having to slide them to the edge in order to pick them up, all you have to do is press down on your mat and you'll be able to pick up that card no problem. And of course with any other components as well. But probably one of the best benefits is that it does act as a silencer for any of your dice rolls, and it's also going to protect your table from any of that sliding around of cards and boards, but as well as the dice rolling, because if you do have a nice table, it is worth protecting. And I know a lot of us are probably playing on our kitchen tables or dining room tables, and it's nice not to scuff that up and cause any damage, because obviously a table is a big investment. And of course there's also the aesthetics aspect, and you can get playmats in all sorts of different designs and patterns, ranging from very colorful and vibrant with different scenery on them, all the way down to a completely plain and generic single color. Of course, Game Toppers offers you all of these selections in all of your standard sizes on their website, but then also they're going to be introducing a whole bunch of new designs in this campaign as well, which I will go through in just 1 second here. But I think this is an area that really sets Game Toppers apart, because you can go on Amazon and buy yourself a playmat, and I did check, and at least in Canada, it's not easy to find game mats of this size that are going to fit perfectly into your table. But then also, you're not really saving much more money by going that route, and you're definitely not going to be getting as much quality. And I think that's really where Game Toppers stands out here, because as soon as I put this mat out on my table, I had a reaction to it, because even though this does have a matte finish like every playmat that I've ever seen, it actually did look kind of shiny to me just because the colors were so vibrant on it, and I wasn't quite sure if it was matte or not. But now that I have all the lights down on it, I can see very clearly it's not reflecting or anything like that. But they definitely did not skimp on the printing here, because the colors really pop and it really looks amazing. And if you're wondering why my table has so much more color than usual, that is the reason. Not only that, but the artwork that they are providing, you're not going to be able to find anywhere else, because they are working directly with various artists as well as artists from the board game community in order to put together all these different designs. And another thing that I noticed that is a bit smaller of a feature, but these do come with their own carrying bag, which makes it really nice to transport. And that carrying bag comes with a very handy little window, so that if you do have multiple game mats, you don't have to be digging through them to find the one that you're looking for. You can just look at the little window to see which pattern you are grabbing. And to me, the design on the game mats generally falls into 2 different types of categories. There's the more generic ones that generally have a particular theme that really makes it work well for pairing with board games of that same theme. Like I said, Game Toppers has a whole bunch of these already on their website, but these are the new ones that they're going to be adding to the campaign. There's the Desert Dunes, Battleground, Water, Starfield, Mars, and the Lost Worlds, which is a jungle style with a bit of some ruins mixed in. But this one is kind of bordering on the edge of my two definitions here, because these other ones are going to look great no matter what direction you're sitting at the table. I think this will work well for that as well, because it does have more of a bird's eye view, but then it is bridging into those more cinematic designs that do have more of a perspective, but just look like really nice pieces of art. And there's this horror one, as well as this ancient Egypt and Old West theme, which do also have that bird's eye view look as well. And then finally, the nature design. And the nice folks over at Game Toppers let me select 2 of these mats. And if you're interested in the 2 that I would choose out of these, I can just let you know the ones that I selected, because the first one was the water theme, because this just works for so many games out there. Even just here in my collection, we have Isle of Cats, Darwin's Journey, Dinosaur Island, Seventh Continent, Wreck Raiders, Aqua Garden, Vindication, and even Rising Sun and Blood Rage are on islands. So the water theme just works so well with so many different games out there. I think if you want the most flexibility, this is probably one to go for, aside from getting just a generic color. Although a space theme was also a tough choice as well. But since it was going into my table, I thought it'd be kind of cool when the top comes off that we have water down below. And my second choice was the one that you see on the table now, and I just couldn't pick any other one because this one just spoke to me. I just loved the artwork way too much. It looks amazing in this picture, and it looks even better on the actual mat. Maybe it's the Canadian side of me, but this one just has so much interesting stuff going on it with all the different animals, and it just looks fantastic. And I know this is just going to blow people's minds when they come over to play games like Everdell or any game that has an animal or forest theme, which is also a common theme in board games. And like I said, you can get these mats in all sorts of different sizes, and they have a size for each one of their different styles of table. And from what I can tell, these do fall into most of those standard sizes that your table might be, even if you don't have one of theirs. But if you do have a table that it doesn't quite fit exactly, and you are particularly adventurous or crazy, probably crazy, and they probably wouldn't have sent me this mat if they knew this in advance, but you can go ahead and cut off one side to get it fit just right. You will be losing a bit of the stitching, so like I said, you do need to be a little crazy. But if you do own their tables, they also have this unique perk where they're going to be creating these brand new mats that do fit into the arm rails on the table, which is a really cool feature. I haven't seen this before, so really cool of them to come up with something unique with board game mats and tables in mind. And also the campaign will be offering you an easy way to transport or hang up your mats if you do get a few of them, because there's going to be this carrying caddy that you can put your mats into, and then you can just fold it up and carry it along with you or hang it up on the wall. I thought I was going to be covering this one quickly, but there's quite a bit more to cover than I expected, but hopefully that was helpful. And if you are interested in this campaign, you can find a link to it in the description below.